Hello, my name is Daniel Pemble, and today I'd like to talk to you about the ideal smoker. But first, we need to review the history of smoking and really get a good understanding of what smoking is. Traditionally, smoking meat was used as a means to preserve meat and other food before the advent of modern refrigeration. Smoking is one of the oldest methods used to cure and preserve meat as well as other foods. Not only does smoking preserve food, but it also adds tremendous flavor to the meat and other foods used. In some parts of the world, smoking in fact is still used as the primary means of preserving food, especially in developing nations that don't have access to modern amenities such as refrigeration. Prior to the use of modern equipment that many of us are familiar with, smoking was done in a dedicated smoke shack, or items were simply hung in front of the family fireplace and cured using the fire that also warmed the home. There are three main types of smoking that we'll discuss today: cold, hot, and smoke roasting. Cold smoking is usually achieved at temperatures between 68 degrees and 86 degrees. It's really used for curing and smoking things like cheeses and meats. Hot smoking is achieved at a temperature of around 126 degrees up to 176 degrees Fahrenheit and is traditionally used for things like curing or smoking sausage. Smoke roasting is the area we'll spend the most time talking about today. Is anything used to cure or cook meat up to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. What options are available? If you've ever looked at the options available in the big box store, you'll know that grills come in all, and smokers come in all forms, shapes, and sizes, and it can be pretty overwhelming. We'll first start with the different types of fuel available today. There's wood log, pellet, charcoal, electric, and gas. Each has its own advantages and disadvantages. For example, wood and charcoal produce amazing flavors and have the classic bark and smoke ring that we're all used to seeing when we talk about barbecue or smoked meats. But they do require a lot of time and attention to reach and maintain a consistent temperature. Electric and gas, or propane and natural gas smokers, produce very consistent results and are easy to use, but tend not to produce as nice of a bark or as prominent of a smoke ring, and the flavors are sometimes a little weaker than what we're accustomed to. Pellet smokers, the final area we'll talk about today, combine the best features of all fuel types. The one disadvantage that I found in my research is that the equipment tends to be a little more expensive, and the pellets that are used to cook with tend to be a little more expensive as well. Design options are also numerous. They include vertical water smokers, the one pictured on the left, bullet style smokers, drum smokers, offset smokers, the one pictured on the far right, and also the ceramic Kamado smokers pictured in the center. Over the last 10 years that I have been using a smoker and smoking meat and refining my techniques, I've used all three of the types pictured. Of them, my preferred is the vertical water smoker. But it's now time to replace my old rusted out smoker. But with what? Let's first look at what the professionals use. There are three main types that I found professionals using in barbecue circuits as well as in a lot of restaurants. There's the professional offset smoker that's mounted to a trailer, the one pictured on the lower left. This one can be quite expensive, upwards of $15,000, but it does have a lot of different features and its amenities are numerous. But for me, I found that the cost and the need to store it far exceed what I'm looking to invest in. There's also the gravity-fed charcoal smoker pictured on the lower right. This system is similar to the wood and traditional charcoal smokers, but it uses a gravity-fed hopper to feed charcoal as the flame dies and as the ash is produced, thus producing a much more consistent temperature. And then finally, there's the pellet smoker. We're going to spend the balance of this presentation discussing the pellet smoker, how it works, and the advantages. As you can see, the pellet, it uses real wood as its fuel. That wood is first ground up and then extruded into pellet form, and you can buy it in any number of hickory, oak, and mesquite, but you can also find it in a lot of different fruit varieties such as apple, cherry, peach, and my personal favorite, the pecan. How does it work though? So the first step is to load the hopper that you see pictured in the cutaway on the lower left with the pellets. The pellets are then fed into a firebox using an auger system and an igniter. And that auger system feeds the pellets in at a consistent rate to help maintain consistent temperature. And this is done through the use of an electronic controller. The smoker pictured on the lower left is the one I'm looking at. It's the Green Mountain, I believe the Daniel Boone edition. It's the smaller of the mid-range, smaller stand-up smoker, but it has all the features I'm looking for. Consistent control, electronic control, Wi-Fi connectivity as well. In summary, the benefits that I see of a pellet smoker are that it produces smoked meats with the perfect bark and smoke ring that we're all accustomed to. It cooks effortlessly. There's no need to fiddle around with dampers or adding fuel and then opening up dampers whenever it gets too hot. It cooks effortlessly all on its own. It produces consistent results. Because of the electronic control, it produces consistent results day in, day out, regardless of the temperature outside. It's also easy to use. And because of that, anyone can make great barbecue. And who doesn't love great barbecue?